I take and I don't think I've ever like talked about
You
this
told
like,
me this.
publicly.
I know you're
yeah, no, I take a pill, a pharmaceutical to increase testosterone rate.
But you're taking it. You're not taking six freaking. Like some of these guys are taking.
No.
milligrams of this shit.
It's a prescription drug through a doctor, and it's doubled the testosterone rate over a year. So
that's a thing now in the special operations in the law enforcement community. I think they call it operator syndrome. What's his name from the Valhalla FT or whatever? Nate. He talks about it. I watched a video where he said there's a new phenomenon called, I think it's operator syndrome, where they're finding that special operators, because of the ups and downs of combat deployments, like you're in these in contact, and then it's like complete boredom, and it lowers they're finding it lowers your testosterone levels. And I'm not a doctor, so hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn with it, but now they're advocating for when these operators come back, that they'll be able to go on a regimen of testosterone to try to help those levels, get back to where they were.
And as long as it's a normal level, which is what Jack is doing.
That is the I drive a lot to all my places, all the places I speak, and I love listening to off the wall podcast things and that's one of them I caught is, and I agree with this doctor saying it's for the people that need it. You're getting older and you're man, we'll prescribe it, but we're finding that it's younger and younger people coming in that don't need it, that have normal levels, or the older guys are coming in and they're needing more and more and more because the body stops making it. So we have to make up for it. And he says, that's the problem. And I agree with that. And I know I've seen it with some of my friends, and hey guys, you are my friends. But I know you're doing it. And you're not doing it healthy, because I used to do it unhealthy. Yeah. And because I used to sell, guys, I sold this. That's why I sold this shit. I used to do it myself, unhealthy, stick myself.
But
so there is unhealthy and healthy levels to do it. But man, it's just, you cross the line. People cross the line because you do feel good. You feel great. You feel strong. Your sex drive is up, especially as old guys that lose it. Yeah. But where does it end? Where do you stop? Because you have to continue to increase that dosage. Yeah. Or if you're younger, why the hell are you doing it if you're 25? You don't need that shit.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Do you want to say something? Or?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's actually a guy that I think he may follow Battle Line Podcast on Instagram, and I follow him because he's a Marine and he gives a lot of interesting takes. I could call him that. I don't remember his exact handle. But anyway, he's been kind of like slinging testosterone on his Instagram. Yeah. And the problem that I have with it is he'll put up these videos where he's like, hey, guys, do you want to have more energy? Do you want to lift more? Do you want to have
exactly.
Be more positive? Yeah, but I think to put just that out and not the negatives is very irresponsible. Because for one, this guy's just a Marine. He's not a doctor. And I'm pretty sure if you're a 20-year-old and you hit him up, he's going to tell you where to go and how to do this, even though you don't need that if you're a 20.
And I can't knock that because I did it when I was 20.
Yeah. I know who you're talking. I think I know who you're talking about.
Does this Instagram store with a B?
No.
Okay.
This might be some.
Oh, so we got two. Those damn Marines.
There's a couple of them
doing illegal shit, man.
And knocking Mexicans out.
Knocking people out. Knocking Mexicans out and doing illegal shit.
So at least the guy that I know, the Marine that I know, and then there's another guy who does the same thing. What they do, their program, when it comes to as far as testosterone is concerned, they will link you with a doctor.
I'm sure they do that, but as you know, there's doctors now who will just
will just hand it out like candy
because it's legal now.
Yeah, so I think if it was like, hey, we will do the blood work for you, and then you have to go to your doctor to get it done, that would be better.
But there's doctors now, because I've just seen from documentaries, that'll kind of tell you how to fake the blood work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy shit going on. So, yeah, the same way that, like, look, I'm personally, this is probably very RFK Jr., but I'm personally very in favor of if we, like the rest of the world, took these commercials off TV, prescribing every drug under the sun, because we're the only country other than New Zealand that does that. But at least in those commercials, they say, you may have, like, God knows what.
After
It's like
is all this
suicidal
stuff.
thoughts.
Yeah,
Blah,
you
blah.
might-
And then
your
you're like,
penis might
yeah.
shrink even smaller. Your balls
Yeah,
might-
and then you're like, you
might
know what?
use-
Maybe I won't do this.
Yeah.
But if you're on Instagram saying all the wonderful positives
Yeah.
of taking testosterone and you give no negatives,
Yeah.
I think that's extremely irresponsible.
Absolutely.
Because you are going to be on a product for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You are, there's a ton of negatives.
But there is I agree, and I did love listening to these doctors. I wish I remember the doctor. It's an MD podcast. I love listening to these guys, and I do agree that there are ages because emotionally, especially if you are a combat veteran or a veteran, regardless, or just anyone, a normal man growing up, you get to your 50s and 60s, it does fuck with your emotions, man, and you want to be up there positive, and you want to take it to where you feel like a man again, I guess. But when it becomes abusive, and that's the problem, is how do you, if it's not, you can't regulate it, but then if we don't regulate it, then people are going to abuse it. Then the kids are going to start taking it, and 20-year-olds that don't need it, at least I did it illegally.
Yeah.
There was some consequences to it. I mean, now you can just go get it. I mean, I had to actually work for it, and then I had to be careful when I was doing it. So there was still some like, man, I don't know if I should be doing this. And then that's the reason I got off it, is because holy shit, I almost got caught. I'm not doing this shit anymore. It's not worth it.
It reminds me of the veterans that did psychedelics
I
after
was
the
just gonna
Vietnam
bring it
War.
up.
Yeah.
That they got into LSD in the 1970s or 1980s, and then all of a sudden it became kind of mainstreamed, nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's really.
Yeah.
Rob
VA
O'Neill has been
is-
talking about doing ibogaine, and there's guys talking about doing ayahuasca and all this. And yeah, I don't know if your guys' feelings on veterans using psychedelics to treat post-traumatic stress. Like, if you think this is good or bad. Like, truthfully, in Rob's case, right? Because we've spoken about it before. Like, just being honest, right? Love the guy, but it's like, this is a guy who's had substance abuse issues. Obviously, he's gotten arrested with that. And I do think, should you be screwing around with all this other stuff? But at least according to him, it's helping him out. I don't know. I mean,
I've heard that from other people that like it's not a drug.
it's like something Leo Jenkins would say, though, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But if it's like a net positive for people and it helps them,
Yeah.
then
I agree.
maybe
In a
it's like
controlled
okay.
environment. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I don't know enough about it. I personally don't think I would do it because I'm the dude who would take one hit and be running butt ass naked down Broadway with a firecracker. on my ass,
I look forward to that.
and then I'd be living in the mountains for the rest of my life because I, had a bad trip. That's just me.
I've been like that on weed.
Yeah, and that's why I've never done a drug, and I won't do a drug because, again, I'm the dude who just one hit and I'm either a complete and utter addict or I'm blowing up buildings or something. So
Project
just-
Mayhem.
what's that? Yeah. I would be on the poster of "Don't do drugs." That would be, So I don't do it, but I think in a controlled environment, from what I've read and heard, I guess it can be a good thing. But then I did see a video just last week. They took a group of like 8 men, and I don't know what they gave them, but 7 of them were fine, and one of them just like freaked out. Like he said, "I'll never come back and do this again." So I guess it's just individual.
Yeah.
You're missing out on weed, dude. I don't know what I used to smoke the shit out. Did steroids, smoke weed. Man, I went to practice high once, man. I was still catching passes. At least I thought I was. Coach was like, what the hell is wrong with you, dude?
This is baseball.
Coach, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I just see 5 footballs and everything's moving slow. Yeah, I just know hell you grow up, but I'm with you on anything that works.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
But the problem, it always turns into where I need more. I need more.
Mm.
And whether that's physically addicting or mentally, emotionally addicting. And I say always, but it does with a lot of people. But if you can handle it and you do what your doctor says and you I think if it becomes medicinal, then yeah, I want, if it helps a veteran out, hey man,
Yeah.
well, let's do it.
Yep.
And I say with the testosterone, there's got to be a lot of self-responsibility, just like drinking. I mean, shit, man, come on. Do you not think I feel conflicted? I have a vodka, I have alcohol, and alcohol doesn't help
I'm holding it up.
with a lot of veterans. Yeah, there you go. Doesn't have a lot of veterans issues. It doesn't. I mean, it'll drive you. But there also, I mean, can't be responsible for all the veterans out there, man. And there's a lot of veterans that enjoy a drink and with their wife or enjoy with the boys, and that's what helps them as well. So it comes down to self-responsibility, man. I'm down for anything as long as it's not in excess and you don't go down the rabbit hole and you don't turn out like Jason running bucket naked, lighting buildings on fire, then moving up to the mountains.
They never caught me.
Yeah, never gonna, you know. And the testosterone too. I am completely for. I know it works. I know that it makes you feel a hell of a lot better.
Which is interestingly, by the way,
but you gotta be responsible with it. And you know, I hate it when I see guys doing it and they do it in excess because they want to look like Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, I was going to say it's interesting though how you're saying, you know, on some level you could advocate for it, because I also know, like, because we're completely open, that you don't do it, although you're in the age range where it would be completely responsible for you in your mid-50s to be like, hey, I'm hopping on this.
I really don't need it. I still get really good boners, dude. I work out what I did when I started to feel it. Because you do. Jack, I don't know if you felt, but I could feel my, not just one day waking up and like, I can't, my testosterone levels down, but you feel more lethargic. You feel less energy, you know. And you don't get as many boners. You know, you're not doing it. Do people still say boners? Am I dating myself right there? Is that
I think that there's kind of like a misnomer or a misconception that a lot of people, sorry guys, think that, you know, doing testosterone is about like sex. There's some sex thing about it.
Well, there is.
There might be, but a lot more of it has to do with like your energy levels,
your energy and your morale. Yeah. You're just feeling good. Yeah. I agree. It's all part of it. It's not Viagra. That's not. Yeah. That's not what's supposed to be. But I said, you know what? Because of my experience using steroids in college at excess level. I mean, man, I was big. I was benching 405 as a 180-pound wide receiver running a 4.5 40 in college, man. Now, you know, I also had back issues and knee issues, and I've got a new hip and new knees. Everybody's breaking down. But what I'm saying is that I say I'm not going to take it. I'll just up my workouts. I'll eat more red meat, even though that may be cancerous. I'm not going to do it until I really need to, and it has worked out so far. And I cut out the drinking. I did. I cut out the alcohol. I had to. There's always a give and take, man. I didn't want to. I like drinking. I love my alcohol. I love drinking my vodka with lime and Sprite. Man, I could go through it, man. But it's like, okay, what do I want to do? And eventually I probably will start having to take some free testosterone, but not until my emotional levels. Emotionally, I feel like I need it to wake up in the morning and get out of bed. So yeah, that's why I'm not against it. I found another route. I'm prolonging it, just like I prolonged my hip surgery and my new knees. I mean, I prolonged it as long as I could, and I'll know when it's time. And then when I go, I'm going to say, give me fucking 800 milligrams of that shit. So,
bought my own.
But I'm always for it as long as it's not in excess or you're not utilizing it like I did. It was irresponsible. It was to be a good football player. It was an ego. It was ego.
But I feel like now that you had those experiences, probably having a son who's like, what, 19 or so? Like
he's 20, and I always ask him if he's on steroids. I'm like, are you on steroids, dude?
But you can always relay your experience, right? Because if you didn't have that experience, then you can't speak as someone who.
Yeah, I do, but he don't listen to me. He's a 20-year-old kid that is bigger than me. He's faster than I. You know, he's fast as shit.
He's not going to do steroids because he's a soccer player, right?
Then he runs college track now. He's a 60-meter sprinter and a 100-meter sprinter, and it's awesome to see this little white boy, even though he's a quarter Mexican. He doesn't claim it because he looks German like my wife.
He looks like
with all the brothers, man. Hey, Jason, when he beats a brother, don't you think? Yeah. Benito, don't think that don't pump me up, man. He can beat the white boys all day, but when he runs by a brother, Dad's feeling fucking good right there.
It's a pulled hamstring. Yeah.
It's a pull.
We don't say that every time.
No, but
That's funny.
you're right, Ian. But when you eventually have kids, if you
Maybe,
ever
who
do,
knows,
or
yeah.
if Jack ever does,
Jack does. Jack's got his daughter.
Little girl.
Oh, you got your daughter. What am I saying? You got your yeah. Wait for that one, man. Daughter's dating.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
But no, you can, but they don't listen. And I don't know. I know I monopolize this, but I do want to get your take on the testosterone. A little bit more, Jack and Jason, please, because maybe I'm way out of my element.
Yeah, so I'm on it. I don't know if I said that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, but it's a gel. So the way it happened for me was, first and foremost, never had a problem with the sex drive. Let's just put that out there in the stratosphere.
Good cover story.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Second
the
of
cover
all-
story.
Should we bring Jason's girlfriend who's watching us as we do this?
My girlfriend, my
Oh,
doctor
she in the
comes
room
walking
right
in.
Yeah, she's right.
Appreciate it.
Oh Lord, okay, just tell her to come in and do
Did
the.
she give a thumbs up? Is that what you
You
do?
like this? Come here, girl. I'm just playing.
Everyone here loves and respects you.
So for me, it was exhausted by 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was just dragging ass. It was that, having trouble concentrating, things like that. And then also I was at the height of my powerlifting. So I was strongest. I was the strongest I ever was, all that, but I was also weighing 300 pounds. So
Wow.
I'd get to the top of a flight of stairs and thought I was going to die. So I was like, I can't do this. So,
And even though a lot of that is muscle, 300 pounds is still 300 pounds.
well,
So-
tell that to this guy. But but so I went to my doctor, my VA doctor, and I was like, listen, I got these things going on. What's the deal? So he said, okay, let's do some blood work. They did some, urine and blood. And then he called me and he said, okay, I'm going to set you up with an endocrinologist. Went to the endocrinologist. She's awesome. Except for when she had me, she was like, I'm going to need to test your testicles or check your testicles. And I'm like, excuse me?
Hell
And
yeah.
so, yeah. So pulls the curtains.
Did
It
you
was
actually
crazy.
say hell yeah?
So crazy. She pulls the curtains. She pulls the curtain, and then she's like, all right, I'm going to stand on the other side of the curtain. And there's literally like what is it? The Mormons or somebody, they say have sex with a hole.
I'm just thinking of the glory.
Yeah,
hole.
somebody. So she's like, you're going to put it through the hole, and I'm going to check it. Okay, no problem. And then I heard I'm committed, and she says, hey, do you mind if I bring in a student? Are we talking a medical student or your 8th grade daughter? Who are we talking about? So I was like, sure, go ahead.
The more the merrier.
So she's explaining to her what she's going to
Feel
do,
my testicles.
this and that. And so all of a sudden I feel the grab and cough and all that other stuff. And so all of that in conjunction with her interview and my blood work, she's like, you have the lowest testosterone that I've ever seen in my almost 30 years.
Were you using recreational steroids? I mean, that would
I
explain.
wasn't using anything.
What was your test level? Do you remember?
Oh God, I don't remember. I can show you though. It's on my phone, I think somewhere, but it was low. And so she said, okay, we're going to start you on. It's a pump. It's androgel. I don't know if that's the common one, but it's androgel.
You said pump. My mind's going in the word. Really? The VA's issuing pumps now. That's
Well-
awesome. I guess I need to go check my testosterone.
Well, the crazy thing about it is she gave me the gel and she said, I need you to look me in the eye and promise me that you are only going to put it on your upper shoulder and your upper arm and your shoulder. And I'm like, okay, fine. She goes, no, I need you to promise me because you are not supposed to put it on your testicles or your stomach.
Ow.
Never told me why. I have no idea why. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me why, but she made me promise. So yeah, so I do one pump on each shoulder every day. And
Why the shoulders?
I don't know. I have no idea, bro. She just told me that's what I have to do. So every 3 months, my blood's retested. I just got my test back 2 or 3 days ago. My level is completely normal. There was a time when my levels were super high in the beginning, and then they dropped because this was during COVID, during the lockdowns and all that. So they couldn't get me what I needed. So I was off of it for about a month. And after about 2 weeks, you start feeling the effects of being off of it. You start getting real tired, all kinds of stuff. So they finally got it to me, went back on it, shot up for a little bit, and then went level. And I've been since 2020, I've been fine.
Is
The
that
problem
your same?
what's that?
No, I'll keep going. I'm sorry.
The problem with that is, and I don't know if this is everybody, but I asked her, "Am I going to be on this for the rest of my life?" And she's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, "You're,
Or else you won't produce any
yeah,
testosterone.
yeah." So, yeah.
tell your girlfriend, sorry, man. Maybe you need to go find somebody else. He's not going to be producing anything. I mean, what good are you?
Listen,
You're just a shell, dude. You're a husk.
Until I can stop putting it down.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a man answer right there. Right.
But yeah, I would say it's the best thing that I've ever done. And I actually, again, not talking about where I work, I just advised someone who I work with. He was describing all these things to me, and I'm like, "Have you been to the doctor for your, blood work?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "You need to go." Well, sure enough, I just saw him last night. He's on test now because his is crazy low.
Jack, are you the same thing? You get the same kind of...
Yeah, guys, I apologize for having so many scotches and that I'm like somewhat incoherent.
You're good. You're good.
That's why I
But I experienced like something somewhat similar. All of a sudden, and it's very funny. I hit 40, and when I was about like 41 and a half, all of a sudden dropped energy levels, like difficulty waking up in the morning, difficulty carrying the same workload that I had previously, like all these sorts of like very basic issues, and also working out. Like I exercised a lot, but it was like I was regressing. Like I wasn't able to lift as much weight. Like just doing push-ups hurt, like physically hurt. And it's like, what the hell is going on with me? Yeah. And so I got tested for testosterone, and I was a little low. I was like 271, and you're supposed to be like somewhere between 300 and 900, I think. So they prescribed to me a pill called Clomid, and that inspires your body to naturally create more testosterone. And over the course of a year, it went up to like 645. And I've had like major differences from energy levels and how I exercise. And it basically solved everything for me.
But I do remember you saying to me, I mean, since we're on this topic,
Mhm.
I remember over like Christmas when I was here, you said like you couldn't fall asleep. It was too much energy.
Oh, that was something different.
Okay.
That was something.
That was a weed.
That was
I was
PCP that was laced into the weed.
I was prescribed some thyroid medications.
Okay.
And that was not this last year, it was 2 years before.
Wow, time flies.
And so my thyroid is like just slightly low. And they prescribed something to me, and I didn't sleep for like 5 days straight. So
yeah, it's like a Coke binge.
Yeah. Lost that. But I would really emphasize to like other people out there that like whatever preconceptions you have about testosterone, like it's not about like getting a boner, and it's like I never had like a problem getting it up. Like that was not the issue there. It was more about energy levels, and that plays into all these other things about like how much work you're able to do during the day and how you're able to exercise and all that other stuff. And I would just say also that, as you get older, your testosterone rate decreases.
Yeah, it just decreases.
And it's not something.
Surprisingly, though, you know what's crazy? Because I've checked mine with year after year, and mine actually got slightly higher. But
Really?
But I think what part of that was, and I could say this, man, is I remember like at the very end of when I was working for Soft Rep, or actually the very end when I was working for Sirius, I did go through a period of like huge depression. And I remember I spoke to you about this.
Yeah.
And just those psychological issues can drop your testosterone. Now, I never had low testosterone. It was always in normal range, but it's gone up since then. And I think it's just because I'm in a good mind state. I'm happy with where I'm at.
Do you know where you're at now?
I don't remember, but it's totally normal range. I know that.
Did you guys? Is the VA? Did the VA? Is that a
VA
cover that?
No, not for me. I pay it out of pocket.
Why not for you though? I mean, you're a combat veteran.
I just got a disability rating this week, so.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Congratulations! Yeah. That's what. Can I ask you what they give you, man?
I honestly don't know. The check hit my account, but I have not like seen a letter that tells me.
You ever got well, that's great. I think that's awesome. Man.
Yeah, no, just being real. I don't know.
Yeah. So I just looked up my my results. So this is September of 2019. The low end of the range is 264. I was at 173.
Yeah.
Damn.
So then if you go back to just recently, just Tuesday, I'm at 531, and it's literally right
Right in the middle. Yeah.
And
So-
I would also note to folks out there that low testosterone has been positively linked to being a veteran.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is what you spoke about. Yeah.
Being a combat veteran, the increased stress, food, poor diet, and also sleep deprivation. All of that plays into it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah. Makes
got to
sense,
get
man.
checked out.
Yeah.
I'll get checked out one.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I just had my last physical. And did they check it with normal blood and
I think
You have to ask for
Yeah.
it.
you have to ask
specifically.
for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've asked just out of curiosity. I just like to see, and I've always been
I'm
perfectly fine.
I'm just curious too. I want to.
I think every male should.
Yeah,
when
it
you
makes
get in your
sense to.
40s,
Yes.
or even
Yes.
if you're not in your 40s yet, if you feeling the symptoms, your sex drive, but more you're tired, you're just feeling blah, like you just can't do anything. You're finding yourself, not wanting to. There's no motivation to do anything. There's nothing wrong with asking your doctor,
Yeah.
hey, can you please just check my testosterone levels and go from there? Because it's the people, you had mentioned it before, you've got these young kids doing tests, and then you have the older folks who are on these massive doses because they waited
doses.
too long. So don't wait. There's nothing, a good doctor will accommodate you if you ask.
This is a good public service announcement. It feels like.
Well, it's it's for me. I'm serious. I'm in a great spot. I just haven't really felt like I needed it.
Yeah, you
nothing
look
wrong
like
with
you're
that.
still.
Yeah, and if you don't feel that you need it, then you shouldn't.
But it's always worth testing, I think.
Yeah,
Don't-
just at
and
least get the results.
reason I tested
Yeah.
the first time was just I was going through a depression. I think that was more what it was, and I got out of that, and I was fine since.
Thanks for checking out Battle Line Podcast. This is just a smaller clip from our latest episode, which you can check out in its entirety by clicking here. While you're watching, be sure to hit the subscribe button and thumbs up the video to show your support. Now, if you'd really like to help us out, click the thanks button below to make a donation. It goes directly to us in keeping Battle Line Podcast going.